When will I be famous?
Asking me lately about the stuff that I use on my face. Now, I call it a somewhat flawless face because it's, I can always still see stuff after I finish, doing things. I have to still work on this side of my face, and I'm not a religious skincare regimen kind of girl. I went through that phase. I just, a lot of times I just wipe my face off really good with water, with warm water and a rag, a damp rag, and that's about the extent of it sometimes. And then I'll just, I may throw on a moisturizer, I may not. I know what they say about the sun and effects and all this other kind of stuff, but you're not always going to catch me with sunscreen on, so shame on me, whatever. Right now I have some foundation on my hand, and this is the deep one that I usually use, and I usually use it here for contouring. And if I want to, I could also use it here to make, chisel this out and whatnot if I want to, but I rarely do that. So I may get around to it one of these days. But I think one of the things that people want to know most about is this little stuff right here. This is cornstarch. Most people know it for its purposes as far as the kitchen is concerned. That its general purpose in the kitchen is when you mix it with cold water and add it to a hot liquid, because you don't want to add it just straight to a hot liquid. You're going to get lumps. That's what the cold water is for. So it doesn't react. Because, cornstarch will give you a reaction. It's not going to give you a reaction like baking soda, like, it wants to bubble up all over the place and explode and all of the kind of stuff like that. But at the same time, when you're cooking, and when you're making something like you're trying to thicken a sauce, or you're trying to make a gravy or whatever, in order for it not to be lumpy, you take a certain amount of it. You don't need a lot, a little small amount. I actually have a scooper in there that's about the size of the ones that they used to give you in the cans of formula. So that's about it. Or it might be not even a tablespoon, more like a teaspoon. You might add a couple of teaspoons and some cold water and, put it down there, because you really don't need a lot to thicken a sauce. So with that said, yeah, it has a certain way that it reacts as far as liquid and moisture and things like that is concerned. And, how does it react with oil? Well, oil on the face, it reduces shine. So just to give you an idea, I'm just putting this here. You saw the little shine before, and I'm just doing this. But normally, of course, I use a brush. Yeah, and it's pretty fine. So it's kind of fine like the HD powder. But that's just me. It's not. Whereas I have foundation on. So I'll do that in a minute. Oh, and I have to tell you, it's like that powder to powder, cream to cream, liquid to liquid type ratio, and the cream first, powder second thing. It's like that. Do not slap this stuff on your face and then stick your foundation on top of it. Put your foundation on first, however you do your face, where you cleanse, tone, moisturizer. Put your moisturizer on, let it sit in like it's supposed to do. Put your foundation on, or primer. Put on your primer, put on your foundation, let all that good stuff sink in, do whatever it's going to do. When you get ready to powder, you can go ahead and use your regular powder. This will actually, it can sit on top of your regular powder, or it can sit on just your foundation. And it'll basically just do what a normal powder does. But because it's white, it's not going to, it will it's not going to show up. You know, it's not going to show up just white on the skin or anything like that. So, I'm putting on just a little bit of foundation. And I'm going to go ahead and stick it across this way on my face. And if you're curious, I'm using NYX. I'm not using a mirror. I'm just using the camera here. I have not gone through all the other changes of the Cleanse Tone Moisturize part. It's only clean from what I did to my face last night. I cleaned it off. Cleaned off my face from yesterday's makeup with cold cream. And as you can see, yes, I put foundation on my eye. I put it everywhere on my face, honestly. I erase my lip, depending on the look that I want. If there's anything I need to go back over, I just go back over it. So, you guys right now are kind of getting a 2-for-1. And I'm using, you know, I don't know why we all go through all of this mess, but it's just a basic foundation brush, and this one happens to be by MAC. Story behind this one: this was the first brush I've ever owned besides the lip brush that I have, and my husband bought these for me at a time where things were relatively okay. I wish we had the means for him to continue buying me MAC and so on and so forth at the time. I do have some MAC brushes, and I say some almost sparingly because the rest of them is what I've purchased, and the last ones that I got was the holiday set, and I purchased them for myself as an anniversary present. And it was the first anniversary that I'd spent alone. No more flowers, no more cards. You know the story. Does it make me sad? Sometimes. Okay. Now, one of the tricks now, as you can see, I've got quite a bit of dewiness going on as far as my face is concerned. So now comes the fun part. And again, I'm using a 129, but I'm using the short version. The one one out of, what is it? I bought 5 sets of stuff for myself for that anniversary. Of course, I was still working at the time and so on. And I have this foundation still on my hand. So I'm going to do 2 things. I'm going to rub it across my hand, and then I'm going to apply it to my face, and I'm going to show you what's what, because as you can see, the one on my hand is darker. The foundation on my hand is darker, but see that? Now, in essence, this will have a tendency to look like it still has like some kind of a sheen to it, but it's a different kind of sheen. It's just the light in and of itself reflecting off the particles. Here's the other thing you have to be careful with too. You don't want to overdo this. Even if somebody my skin tone, it will look bad. It will look super white if you're not careful on how you apply it. So I would say to definitely first, it all depends on how you want to do it. You can just go ahead and lightly buff it into the skin. Or you can do it this way. I'm just going to take one of the puffs that I have here, and you can start to press it into your skin first, like so. And of course I'm over again, but that's alright. Just pick up where we left off, if you don't mind watching two parts. Okay. You know, I actually have it in, I've got it in several different jars and so on and so forth. Make sure you get by your nose.